I came to New York when I was 18 years old with $100 in my pocket.
And I promised myself that I wouldn't come out to my parents until I was willing to lose them.
History is so important because it allows us to understand where we are going.
I'm still here, I'm 63 years old, and I intend to live until I die.
When future generations ask what we did in this crisis, we're going to have to tell them that we were out here today. And we have to leave a legacy to those generations of people who will come after us. A friend of mine in New York City has a half-fare transit card, which means that you get on buses and subways for half price. And the other day when he showed his card to the token attendant, the attendant asked what his disability was, and he said, "I have AIDS." And the attendant said, "No, you don't. If you had AIDS, you'd be home dying." And so I wanted to speak out today as a person with AIDS who is not dying.
A lot of tributes were paid to assassinated Supervisor Harvey Milk, but as often as Milk was mourned, his cause was celebrated.
And I gladly stand up and be counted and represented. And finally, I guess I'm here because today represents the future.
On April 25th, 1993, over 1 million people went to Washington. They went for a number of reasons. Some wanted to get married. Some wanted to join the army. Others were protesting the high cost of medicine for AIDS patients. But everyone was in Washington for the same reason. They were fighting for their civil rights.
And I hope we don't have to come back, but if we have to, I'll be here again.
I never missed a pride parade, but I always would stand at the back up against the buildings on Fifth Avenue and just pretend that I had nothing to do with me, because God forbid anybody should find out that I was gay. And 30, 40 years ago, I don't remember how long ago, but my sister on one Pride Sunday called me and said, "Where are you marching?" And I said, "I'm not marching." She said, "Yes, you are. Get off your goddamn ass and I'm meeting you at Columbus Circle." And I said, "Sue, but what if somebody sees me? You'll know I'm gay." And she said, "You are gay." Deal with it.
Children are growing up knowing that heterosexuality is not the norm, that there's, whether it is a societal norm, it does not have to be the norm for your own life.
Today's demonstration is the latest of many staged by the militant group ACT UP, which has gained increasing influence on AIDS policy.
Echoing our history, for more than 25 years, people with HIV were forbidden entry to this country.
Basically, the community, with all its different colors under the same umbrella of trans, had been invisible for years.
Black and trans, mess with them, you catch these hands. Sisters, be trans women with dignity. Be trans women with dignity.
While we had a black president, black men are being killed. While we have Laverne Cox on, and this, being critically acclaimed and getting awards, black trans women are dying and no one's talking about it.
Just last month in New York City, a young girl named Ilan Nettles was walking down the street in Harlem with her friend, and she was catcalled by a few guys. They realized that she was trans, and then they beat her to death.
And I guess it was about that time in the city, when ACT UP started. And things began to change, and so did I, finally. At GMHC, I used to, for a number of years, I did intake interviews, which were crushing. I mean, what kids were going through then was horrible. Being completely thrown out from their families, no place to live, a lot of them sick.
There's generations and communities that feel more choice, feel like they can be part of a movement, that they have a voice. And then there's always pockets of gay people, lesbians, queer people, trans people fighting for their lives. I mean, we do a lot of work with homeless LGBT youth, and we know about the busloads of kids who land in New York City, and they're leaving for their lives.
Before that, the 20th anniversary action, we were all sensing that healthcare reform was going to become a big major national issue again, which did prove to be the case. So here we are now, and the zeitgeist is absolutely resist.
Whatever oppressive movement that did this to the community for so long, you cannot sustain that. The community grows and people start screaming, and you can try to silence me for a while, but then it's not enough, right? So we are at that point where we cannot be silent.